Welcome, lovely one, to the Meant for More podcast. My name's Lisa Clifford, and I am building the world's most empowering Meant for More movement, leading millions of heart-led purpose seekers from feeling insignificant to invincible. So I truly hope you enjoy this next episode. And welcome, Claire, to the Meant for More podcast. And Claire and I have known each other. How old is your latest?
So she was 6 in August, and we probably knew each other for about a year before that. So it's gone on for a decade, I'd say.
You were 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And we had met way before that. So I say 8 months pregnant, interrupting her as though she's wrong, because we both vividly remember her firewalking, arrow breaking, in full pregnancy bloom and all that flourish of life and vitality that you had. And so we met before then at a Lean In Leeds event.
Yes.
And our lives have sort of interwoven a little bit over those 6-7 years and brought us to this moment right now. And so I'm going to ask you if you can think of a moment in your life where you knew you were just meant for more.
So there've been a number of epiphanies, depending on how far you want me to go back. But I guess the first moment where I knew I was meant for more was when I was on maternity leave with my second child, who is 11 today. And I was working in recruitment at that time, and I didn't want to accept the version of flexible working that I was being offered by my employer at the time. So that was a big epiphany of, sod it, we're going to do it for ourselves. And that's when I launched my first business. And I guess everything kind of cascaded from there. But I think it's worth alluding to the moment that our paths firmly interwoven, which is the one you mentioned when I came to you when I was pregnant.
When you say allude, I think you're going to go full graphic.
I didn't think it was that kind of podcast, Lisa, but I signed up for your firework when I was 7.5, 8 months pregnant, with my youngest child, who, as we say, is now 6. And I just had this really strong sense that I was starting to be referred to as mum all the time. And I've got 2 elder children, and I just felt like I was losing my identity. And so I can't even remember where the invitation came from to sign up to the firewalk. But I just thought, yes, I need to do something to reclaim my identity and prove that I'm not just going to be subsumed into this role of motherhood. And it was absolutely beautiful. And I've still got the arrow that I broke with my throat with all my limiting beliefs written on. I've still got that in my office now. And it's just been one of those gorgeous anchors over the past few years. And I'm sure we're going to come on to why we're speaking today. But yeah, it's a really lovely full circle moment to be speaking to you today.
Well, let's put people out of their misery, if they're in misery, that is. Why are we speaking today? Pray tell, Claire, what have you committed to?
Well, I am going to be learning to be a firewalk instructor.
Yay! Just what the world needs right now is another heart-led empowerment and transformational leader to help people rediscover who they always were before they became restricted and limited by the outside world. So I cannot thank you enough for accepting the calling that you've embraced, and because right now is the time when the world needs us to be in our hearts and to create transformation from there through these incredible tools, processes, that you will be taught as I was taught them 18 years ago. They hold that integrity and that purpose. And I think it's really special with that this goes out into the world through your heart.
Yeah. I'd love to share the story of how this came about, if that's okay, because I think it's such a beautiful story, and the entrepreneurial scene needs more moments like this. So we reconnected at the Athena conference back in October,
Another,
and
I think I know the story you're going to tell. Oh, yeah.
and we were speaking, and it was lovely to see you again. And I remember sitting in the audience, and there was this kind of stirring in my soul happening as I was sitting there. And your words were landing, and it was one of those light bulb epiphanies where I was like, I am building the wrong business. Now, I have got a long history of having that feeling. And my husband and co-director always gets this feeling of like, oh no, it's happening again. Because when I get that feeling, there is no backing down from what we're creating. And he knows that it's going to be burning something down that we thought we were building and starting again. However, he has also learned to trust that feeling as well, because it has never steered us wrong. And as I was sitting in that audience, I just got this sense of we were focusing in the wrong direction. And that feeling was, I need to do this training. I absolutely need to do this training. And it's so strange. And I've learned to trust that feeling so much. And it's so strange. And I walked out of the conference room, and there was a photo of me giving you a massive hug at that firewalk training. And my friend went, I couldn't even trust it. And then everything went quiet for a month or so, didn't it? And then I was at yoga one morning, and I just got this sense going, you need to reach out to Lisa and sign yourself up. And I did, didn't I? I sent you this really long, garbled message just going, I need to be there, sign me up. And here we are. Here we are having this conversation.
That is, this is my banner stand that I took to the Athena conference that we're speaking at, that Claire's referring to, because on there, I don't just have great photographs, I have photographs that touched my heart.
Yeah.
Regardless if they're blurry, if the photograph's blurry. And it is the moment you did that arrow break and we're in that bear hug that I thought we were never going to let go of each other. Because I have this feeling that in the moment that you broke through your beliefs, that it affected and transformed your baby as well. I mean, imagine.
Well,
In comes my baby, fog-legged version. But imagine being a baby in the womb as the mum is mustering up all her courage to break through the ancestral. There's decades of beliefs that have been steering and blocking and limiting her path. Imagine being that baby. Oh.
yeah. Do you know what? I'm so pleased you said that. I've never thought of it like that way before, because Bobby is absolutely kick-ass. She is feral. We have said since she was born, CEO or prison. There is no parenting that kid. She does what she wants. She's a nightmare to parent, but I admire her so much. And until you said that, I
It all
wouldn't be
makes sense.
surprised. It all makes sense. It's all falling into place, and I blame you entirely. You have to be a fairy godmother.
And yes, and to get your because I put a post on LinkedIn, and then you put a comment just of your selfie with your picture on my banner stand behind. We will have to put that picture on the screen now, because
That's brilliant, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, if there was ever a sign that you were in the right place at the right time with the right thinking, well, not that it's right or wrong, but the aligned thinking and intuition.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? And this is what I teach as well. alignment for entrepreneurs. And you might not even know this, Lisa, but since that moment, I went back and I told my co-director slash husband that we were building the wrong thing. And since then, we have launched a new business. We've completely changed our business model, and it's happening. Things are slotting into place. So, gosh only knows where we'll be by February, but there's some ripple effects going on, let me tell you.
The noise in the background is a number one fan of yours saying, "Congratulations, Claire." At least that's what I'm going to interpret it as. Bear with me a second whilst I just shut the door they've left open, letting all the heat out. So please share what your new business is going to be, or is, if
Well,
you can.
absolutely can. It's live on LinkedIn, so you can check us out now. It's called WildEdge Worx,
Wild.
and it's transformational and experiential coaching for senior leaders and founders of heart-led, purpose-led businesses in West Yorkshire for now. But, we've got grand plans to change the world with this stuff. And it's based on this whole idea of alignment through nature. So we offer the Rewilding retreat, which we've spoken about before. That's in the Lake District. It's 5 days of luxury and adventure and business stuff with like-minded women at the moment, but we've got a men's one coming next year. We do Trailblazer Days, which are one-to-one bespoke expeditions up mountains. And we do business, mindset, and heart-led coaching, traditional stuff, but still based in energetics and alignment. So that's live. You can check us out. But I shared this with you, Lisa. One of the things I'm most excited about doing this
You're saying
training
this
is
like it's a secret, and carry on.
it's this idea of offering the next level rewilding retreat, the fire and ice retreat. So we already do wild swimming, cold exposure as a facilitator and a modality to transformation. Bringing in fire and walking on coals and just bringing that fire back in the belly. I cannot wait to see what what impact that's going to have in the world.
Well, I can tell you, I'm just fresh back from doing November. So I run this training twice a year and it's 6 full days. And sometimes there's lunch breaks, sometimes it's not. It depends where my intuition takes us. As now we've got to do something. But I've just been delivering the Firewalk and Empowerment Instructor training course. And people might be thinking, why walk on fire? And I get that. I get why you might be thinking right now, I don't need to walk on fire. But when it's held in the right way, with the right facilitator, with the right heart, with the right purpose, and is there for human transformation, then the question isn't even present anymore as to why do it. And what it does for people is, I'm just going through people's reflections now, even though I was there and I saw the transformation and I saw people have breakthroughs that no other modality, no other process has ever created. And I've seen most of them from, well, I won't go through the list. And just that. And I think what happens is that people have an idea in their mind of what they can and can't do. And when they're invited to step up to do it, and then they achieve it, whether it's the board break, the arrow break, the rebar bend, the glass walk, the fire walk. And the fire walk isn't an achievement. It's a belonging. It's a rite of passage. It's a remembering of where we've been. When people when they step up and they do it, there's a massive breakthrough because they know the journey their mind had to go on for them to step up and do it. And then they now know what is true. And the tears and the release and the relief, men and women, is from that. That's who I am. That's who I am. And that's their new story created that the old one can never exist with. And so if you're ever attending a firewalk where it's simply, stand strong, walk over, then that will last you a night, and you can always reflect and remember you did a great thing and what you're capable of. But when it's immersive and like layers and cellular,
Yeah.
then the transformation is
It's an identity shift, isn't it?
it
At the
is
deepest level.
it really is, and it's the firewalking shifts something within us that our psychology cannot quick wit around.
Mm.
It
Can
just
I
defies logic.
just jump in? So, what you've said is really, really interesting. That you haven't found a modality as powerful as firewalking. Now, I'd like to challenge you a little bit on that, because that's how I feel about wild swimming in ice. So,
Yeah.
maybe there's an exchange of passions here where I take you swimming. However, I think this is the reason I signed up with you, Lisa, because I want to do this right, with integrity, within love, with wisdom, with a remembering, like you say. So I went to Cologne last August before last to go and see Wim Hof,
Mhm.
and I thought I loved Wim Hof. The Iceman he's called, and there was an ice bath experience, and it was a paddling pool in a car park
With him.
with him.
No.
And I just felt hollow afterwards, because the beauty of ice and water while swimming for me is being up a mountain. It's being perfectly held between heaven and earth. It's the transformation you get from going into the cold. And sitting in a car park in Germany was not the experience for me. And this is why I want to learn to firewalk properly, because it's got to have that hidden depth, hasn't it? Or it's just transactional and a tick box exercise. And that's not what I want to bring people.
No, there's enough of those um experiences out there. And I think what humanity is craving, and I'd love to know what you think as well. They're craving that reconnection back to the truth of who they are, not an illusion, not a version, not a rebranding. It might involve a rebranding, because some of our brands are, oh, how would you like people to see you? Well, sometimes that's nothing like who we are, and so it's a real efforting to be the version that we how we want people to see us. And I think that what humanity is absolutely on its knees needing is for people to reconnect with who they are, and to know that that is more than enough. And at the moment, I think what's happening is people are being who they think other people want them to be, and it's really stressful. And it's calling for people to go into hibernation, um, uh, and to really, I don't know, their view of themselves is distorted and it's confusing. And I say this, we don't go into identity on the training. It just is. We just are. And so, what space do you think humanity's in right now as a generalization? Because I know it's not everybody.
Yeah, I think we're living through very interesting times at the moment, aren't we? And I said this to a client on a session this morning, in that we are, I think the saying at the moment, that we're about to leap forward through 1,000 years of evolution in a very, very short space of time. And as a society, we're left feeling discombobulated, scared, grasping out for strange and wonderful solutions. And this is one of the reasons behind launching WildEdge Worx, is almost to be the antidote to AI. I was with a client in the Peak District a couple of weeks ago, and we were climbing up a peak, and she was struggling. So we were having a conversation to kind of take her mind off it. And you can't LLM your way through that feeling of granite under your feet and earth under your fingernails as you reach the top. And anchoring in those real, true, core, authentic, raw, messy experiences is everything. And I think we need more. We need more of that, or we need spaces to have that, so that we can engage with the way that the world's changing, even quicker. I'd love to can I share a little story about the dragonfly? Because I think this illustrates beautifully what we're talking about. And I know you'll be familiar with this, and I know a lot of people who are listening or watching this will be as well. But the story of the dragonfly is it starts its life as a water nymph, right? Everything it knows is through the lens of the water, and through some weird, wonderful evolutionary instinct, it just decides one day to climb up a reed and lies on that reed in the sunshine, its body being dried by the sun, and then the body splits open. And then suddenly the wings grow and it becomes a creature of the air. And but when it's part of the water, it can't understand the perspective of a creature of the air. And that's kind of where we are at the moment as a society, isn't it? We're kind of in this water, trying to see our way through the murky depths and just trying to figure it out. And I think that's what fire and ice and these kind of experiential modalities provide, is the pathway, the portal, the conduit to be able to experience things through a deeper, truer, more beautiful perspective. Sorry, that was a very long
Yeah,
answer, but I'm so passionate about this stuff.
I think that's a lovely metaphor, the dragonfly. I think it's absolutely lovely. Um, what's your vision then? So when you qualify, you'll become a certified firewalk and empowerment instructor that will be in your suite, your complement of offerings for transformation for people. You'll be qualified in March 2026. What's your
On my
vision?
birthday as well.
On your birthday, yes. What's your vision that you hope for your, we'll say community, because I think that's the people that are drawn to us, isn't it? It's not necessarily
Yeah.
people that live down the road, but it's the souls that relate to you.
I want to change the economy, Lisa. I think that patriarchy and the old economic structures had its turn and left us in a bit of a pickle. And the work that I do, my company does, your company does, people who are part led like us, this is how we change the economy, by activating part led conscious leaders who are then going to go and have their most beautiful business ideas. And I think that's how we sort the world out, by
Mhm.
helping conscious leaders have their awakening through however we do it, and then go on to have the ripple effect of what we can do by helping these breakthroughs is huge, isn't it? And I find it really, really exciting to be able to facilitate that. So slightly ambitious vision, but what else are we here for?
Well, I was saying to in a session today about it was a similar conversation actually about the world and then our country and the government. And I was saying, well, my perspective is we're on a massive patchwork quilt. And if we take care of our piece of that quilt, and it impacts the next piece and the next piece and the next piece, then overall, to take on it all is one thing, but to be really conscious in every interaction now, with it, not just when I'm in my school, my firewalk and empowerment school, not just when I'm there teaching, not just when I'm on a stage speaking, when I'm at the supermarket, when I'm walking the dogs, that we're conscious with the transference of transformation, if you like. And that's, sometimes just a smile at somebody on a day when they're really in their dark inner world. And so I think it's a responsibility in who we are being as well as what we are teaching, isn't it? And it's interesting because so often I don't hear it loads. I used to hear it at the beginning. Maybe I don't take any notice anymore. But when people have had an expectation that people in our position, helpers, healers, don't have problems, don't have limitations, or we shouldn't have them. And I think the moment we don't have our own self-doubt, our own needing to really pull our courage from our toes, the moment we don't have that, I think is the moment we are disconnected from our purpose. and its value in the world. And I'm just wondering, do you ever, as a coach, as a facilitator, as a teacher, trainer, have people say to you, oh, you have doubts, you shouldn't have that, or you have limiting beliefs, or you shouldn't have it, or shouldn't you have it all fixed and worked out by now? Do you ever have that? Somebody say that?
I mean, you're kind of describing my mother-in-law's voice there, but I think in the early days, yeah, absolutely. But I think it's about consciously setting boundaries
Mm,
with who you spend your time with,
mm,
and also cultivating your own practice so that that stuff kind of bounces off,
mm,
like brushing dust off a shoulder.
mm,
I share very vulnerably on LinkedIn, for example. There's loads of pictures of me on a cosy in there, for example, at mountains, and people have got opinions on that, and that's fine. That's their opinion. But I think one of my pillars is authenticity. I share very vulnerably, very honestly with my communities. And I don't pretend to be perfect because I think, if you ever do that, then, well, A, it's a load of rubbish, and B, like you say, you have lost sense of your purpose. So I think it's more helping. I come at it from a perspective of helping people see behind the curtain and why I'm dealing with things with integrity rather
mm.
than pretending to not have any problems. I mean, gosh, I've got 3 young kids. There's plenty of problems, and I'm co-director with my husband. There's plenty of challenges that I'm navigating on a daily basis, but that's great, right? Isn't it?
Mm. What is what is your purpose, would you say? I was going to say, what is your mission, your vision, but actually, what would you say your purpose is as you know it right now? Because I think we're always fine tuning, being curious, as you know it right now.
Yeah. And I think my purpose is gosh, this makes my imposter player a little bit, but it's to be a trailblazer. It's to walk a path of courage and to go first so I can help other entrepreneurs follow me and make it a little bit easier for them.
Hmm.
I've never articulated it quite like that before, but that feels true.
Mm. Mm. So, would you say, what would you say now that you are booked on the course and you're full of trust? I know that, and full of courage. Do you have any limiting beliefs that are showing up about the upcoming training? Any kind of, oh, I wonder if, because these are all completely natural, and I'm only asking because I know that you said that you share your vulnerability. What sort of thoughts are coming up when you think about this 6-day training?
So, really practical stuff,
Mm.
which is interesting given how many retreats I've run now. I think this will help me have an extra layer of empathy for the women that are booking on my retreats. So I know that will I like the food? Am I going to have to share a bedroom with a stranger? Will people like me? Will everyone else be able to do it apart from me? And I know this is just my monkey mind trying to throw various objections up to keep me on my comfort zone, but it is so interesting to be on the other side of it. Um, and knowing that I haven't even reached out to you with any of these questions because I trust you and I wouldn't have booked on if I didn't trust that whatever would happen, I'd be safe to go through it.
And those thoughts are the most common. I say popular. They're the most popular ones because it's all totally natural, isn't it? It's like,
Mm.
what's my environment, and also what's my emotional safety, and then, funnily enough, physical safety is often last. But yeah, they're completely natural thoughts, and what I know is um, it's always exactly as it's meant to be. Do you know, we've
Mm.
just had an experience for a week where the venue didn't have heating. And it's in the week where the weather plummeted. Not the weather, the temperature plummeted. And yet everybody on the course was so compassionate to me, who knew I was trying to sort it out for everybody. But also they were, somehow this is what we are meant to have. They were all able to get a meaning from it that made sense to them. So I think that's what this course, and I know that you will attract the same kind of people on your retreats, where people are, if I'm responsible for every experience I have, what was it in this that I needed? And so however it weaves and whatever happens, the magic is happening in every moment of the training, or even not, even the moments that are not the training. And one of the comments from last week was, I fully expected to learn from you, Lisa, very, very, very deeply. What I had underestimated was learning from each other in the circle. And nice. That was just divine. I
feel a deep part of me relaxing as you say that. It's interesting. Yeah. And for me, this is a huge exercise in surrender and self-trust and letting go. I'm a control freak. Show me an entrepreneur who isn't. And one of the concepts I'm playing with is surrendering and letting go and trusting the right people. So there's also a question I have about, how is this going to fit into my existing offering? And I know at the moment I'm not at the level of consciousness to be able to answer that. Don't know. And that's absolutely okay, because it's going to emerge. I'm a dragonfly underwater at the moment.
That's really interesting, because one of the people on the course last week on night one was blown away at the depth, really. She could just really feel the depth of it. And she was trying to imagine, well, how's this going to be? And how's my husband going to be on board? And I'd say to her, it's too early. It's to let the course play out and let the vision reveal itself. Let things take their course and see where you are at the end of it, not through pushing or forcing, but like naturally surfaces. And by the end of it, she said, you were so right. I could not know what I know now on night one, and yet I wanted the whole picture on night one. And I think we all do. I think it's really natural that this we want to imagine our life as it's going to be. So your particular intention and your particular style of surrender and just see how it unfolds is perfect.
I can't wait to do the after conversation to this. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It is. And we will release this conversation as it is. And we'll do the after conversation, but we'll put them together. Is that all right with you that we do it like that?
I think that's great.
Because what I love about your sharing, Claire, is I think it's helpful. Not that we've done it for this reason. We've really done it for our own journaling, if you like. But I think it's really helpful for people that are thinking of doing this, thinking, well, I have all these thoughts, and right now these thoughts that you've just described are their current blocks. Whereas you're with them and moving forward with them. And to know what's natural to think, and whether it's normal to think, am I going to be the one that isn't able to do these things? I think that everybody thinks that on every single exercise I facilitate for the last 18 years.
Same with my mowing. And, I guess this is a perfect example of my purpose that you've asked me about before, is that I'm willing to go first. And, if I have to share the warts and all fears and worries and niggles and all the things, then if that can inspire one more person to step forward with courage, then great, bring it on.
Yeah. And I think people knowing what's going on in your mind as you step forward is really powerful, because I think there's the illusion that people think we are fearless. And so it's all right for you. You're fearless. You're confident. I am not fearless. I walk with my fear. That talk you saw me speak at, I was nervous for 2 weeks.
Wow.
for 2 weeks, and it was a 20-minute talk, and it was from my heart, but it was because I was having to give slides, and I like to speak whatever's right in the moment. So the slides were my restrictor, but I honestly for 2 weeks thought I wish I'd not said yes.
Interesting.
Not because I didn't want to say yes, but because I was thinking and living my 20-minute talk for 2 weeks. I'm not without fear. I'm not without reflection of, was that good enough? Was I worth their attention? I'm not without those thoughts, but I do it because of my purpose.
What's
I
your
do it.
purpose?
My purpose is to help people be in their truth and break through those limiting beliefs, and so that they're unstoppable. And for me, unstoppable isn't like a reckless runaway train. Unstoppable is those layers of limitation that we have over us that put the brakes, that get in the way, that diffuse our passion. So unstoppable is once all those untruths are removed, and then there's an alignment with moving with your truth into what your heart absolutely was here to experience.
Love it. So I've got a state called the Way of the Rose, and it's on the screen. I don't know if you can see the branding there, but it's just a private thing for me. It's not a package or a thing or anything like that. It's just my higher state that is infused with everything I do. And the Way of the Rose is it came to me in a meditation that this is my thing, and I can't explain it, but that's the thing. And I've got my anchors everywhere. And the Way of the Rose is moving forward with grace, with integrity, with authenticity, but being heart led. And that has led to some breakthroughs, some navigating some really horrible situations. But it's about calling in the divine feminine and a beautiful, intuitive way of navigating. So I just
That's
head off for
lovely.
that, just in case it pops up again in our conversations. Or I wonder, if I'm having a niggle when we're there at the training or anything like that, whether that's would be a helpful state to invoke, or let's just see.
Well, I think if you're having a niggle, then being with the niggle is good.
Mm.
As something moves up and out, we call it the oil. So oil being the stuff that's in, and I say Peggy Dillon trained me with this. Our oil being our limiting beliefs, the stuckness that's in our unconscious, and water being our personal development, our growth. And when we add water, the oil rises. And so when we have our niggles, when we have our frustrations, that's just that oil coming to the surface. And it's great to be with it and see it that way of, I feel some resistance or frustration right now. That's my oil surfacing up and out. And so it's usually pretty good to just be in the witnessing of what's happening. So often in life, as you know, people are like, oh, no, you don't have to feel like that. And then they shove it back down. So then it stays in our unconscious behaviors, and it stays as a trigger, looking for its opportunity to be seen again, so it can be deactivated, if you like, through it moving up and out. And so there may be moments where you have a niggle, and that happens where people's frustrations come up, where either they mishear something and it's because of an old pattern that they've been living, it's coming to the surface and it's playing out in some sort of hierarchy in the room. I don't design that, but when it happens, I just allow it to come to people's consciousness. And then when it's in consciousness, you're in control of it and you just allow it to be released, if that makes sense.
You're singing my song, Lisa. I mean, this is my favourite topic, and I think is one of the most common things that people come to me with is that good girl archetype. We're told to kind of sit in the corner, don't cause any fuss, do what's expected of you. And we're told to squish down our feelings, aren't we? And just kind of
We're
get on with
seen and
it.
not heard.
Yeah,
be
totally,
seen and not heard.
totally. And one of the most powerful things that I've learned and I teach now is to just be with the uncomfortable feelings and it's okay.
Mm,
You can feel all the feelings
mm,
and then just release them and carry on and
mm,
it's transformative.
mm.
But I'm looking forward to you holding to me account and seeing what happens when I raise all my stuff as well.
Yeah, and I think the trick is that I won't take it personally. I'll just see it as it's rising, so she can be in her brilliance, even more light, even brighter, and in the true transformation of what you know this training holds. So that because I'm always inspired, really inspired by the people who have done the work on themselves, not the people that have learned something.
Mm,
That's like head stuff. But the people that have gone through the transformation, that when you listen to those people, when you're with those people, you're like, I'm on board, I trust. You don't even need to have shared with the group or with anybody your journey. You can just feel it in them.
mm,
You can just feel it in them. And then, as when I say them, as in you, when you're then going to be leading, people will be able to just feel that this took you on a journey and it's now you can't not share it. What people say is, I can't not share this with the world. Now I know it and now I have it and now it's in my heart. And because a couple of people came on the training for their own personal healing, not necessarily to be a firewalk and an empowerment instructor, but just to have the work done on themselves and left saying, oh, I've got to put my big girl pants on
yeah,
and take this out into the world because now I know it's what it can do for people. It's wrong for me to keep it to myself out of fear.
yeah.
So,
Can't wait. Absolutely can't
oh,
wait.
is there anything you feel we haven't said that we would like to say?
I think it might be helpful for me, but also anybody who's watching this or listening to this. Um, is there anything you can share about what to expect or prepare? Or shall I just trust and go with the flow?
Yeah, that.
Fine,
All
fine.
of my mentor and the the mother of firewalking, who brought it to the westernized culture, is a spiritual teacher and leader. And I've signed on to courses, not knowing what we're doing, but knowing that she knows. And I think the best state of being is without the thinking mind needing to imagine what we're going to do. I would ask that exact question you've asked. What do I need to do or prepare or know about that will make me in the best state to receive everything the course has to offer and everything that's around it?
Mm,
But actually, they're just showing up and trusting and backing yourself. Like, I know I've made a great decision in that this felt right to do is the most perfect state to be in. And then
yeah.
the willingness to trust every single moment, the planned, the unplanned. We had a moment on the training that I could never have planned. And I decided to teach the board break in a way I've never taught it before. I never would have planned on teaching it, but we did it in such an incredible way that something had happened on the training externally that had like been that niggle. It was actually nothing to do with the training. It was an
Mhm.
interruption that we'd had by the venue and the owner of the venue that had pierced our sacred circle we'd created. And we're working on layers and layers, and people are going to layers and layers that I don't manage. We're just in it. And so I had this energy in me, and like, I've got to. So people were eating the lunch and I was like, now, and everybody looked at me like, she means now. They put the spoons down. We moved into the room and we did. I won't share how we did it because I might want to duplicate it again. It was so good. But we moved it. We all had this energy in us of, And it could be anger, it could be frustration, it could have been resentment, it could have been whatever it was. We didn't need to name the feeling, but we all did the board break and we moved that feeling. So we used the board break for a brilliant exercise of moving an energy through us into fuel for healing and alchemy that just was perfect in that moment for that group. And then when we did the shares right after doing it, and we did it more than once, I said, how do you feel? And Helen said to me, well, when I was on my second spoon of my lunch and you said, now, how could we not trust you? With everything that you have given us, every moment you've held us in, how could we not trust you when you say now? And something shifted and something bonded. And I didn't plan that. That way of doing it wasn't in the manual. That way of doing it was instinctive to that moment, to that group, to that environment, to that. So I adjust all the way through, all the time.
Was there any better feeling though as a facilitator than that inspired idea? I live for them. They're amazing, aren't they? Where you just, this is
Yeah.
what this group needs. Let's make it happen. And it just turns out to be the most perfect thing ever. And it's just joy and a privilege, this work, isn't it?
It is. It is. In my training, I say there are meal times and there are break times, but it's all very fluid because I work in a way that holds people in their optimum. And that's a reading of them. It's not a clock. And there are some trainers that want to stick, right? If we're saying lunch at 12, we will have that thing finished at 12. And I think, well, no, we are residential. So I can give you everything possible so that you're a success when you leave. So that I leave nothing. I leave nothing. Is it called nothing on the pitch? I leave nothing on the pitch. And so today's the first day that I've been. It finished nearly a week ago, 6 days ago, and today's the first day I felt like ready to give again.
Yeah.
But it's intuitive, it's aligned, and everything I do is so that everybody in front of me, it's for them.
Yeah.
And the team show up, the team pay to be there. So the team pay to be the team, because that's the level of support I want every student to have, that there are people there and pay to be there because this mission, this vision, this training is so valuable. And they work in a way of, they have to work with me. They have to work with me, and I'll say, now we're going to do that, and they move because they've already done the training with me, so they know, and all of their focus is on those students, but they don't teach. So if any of the students ever say, oh, what do we do in this situation, they refer it to me. So it's one voice, one that they've been a student, they're graduates now, they've maybe run a firewalk or maybe run some sort of empowerment event, but I'm the trainer. They support, and we've got a wrap-up call tonight to go through a continuous improvement process that they've instigated. I mean, I wanted it, but they've made it happen. And I think the level of support you have on these things, on your retreats, on this training, has to be world class.
Yeah.
Whilst they're still their own personalities, they're still on their own journey, they're still in their growth, they're still in their curiosity, as well as one Mel did her final share, and I thought those words should have come from me, but I could not have put them better. She just said, this is bigger than us. This work is bigger than us. This is God's work. How could I not be here in service, not just to you, but to this training and to this mission? I was like, wow. That came straight from her heart. And I thought, I could not have put that better. It's just, I'm just a lucky girl. No, I am not lucky. I am in gratitude and blessed to have created this and to attract the people I attract.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
Where's the time gone? We've chatted for 50 minutes. So what will you say as a closing moment?
Oh, I can and I will. Watch me.
Aho. It's exactly as it's meant to be. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you so much. Gosh, this just feels like a beautiful journey unfolding, doesn't it?
I can feel it in every part, every cell. I can feel it. I look forward to seeing. So some people see this just as it is, and then some people will be watching part 2, all of it together. So for now, thank you and see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you would like to be involved in the Meant for More movement, then please drop me a line at lisa@lisaclifford.co.uk. Whether that's you're interested in being on the podcast, taking part in any of the trainings, or would just love to know how you can help empower others, then let's have a conversation. Thank you for listening, and we'll connect again very soon.